I'm going to hit record. So welcome to the Q1 2022 ARC board meeting, and I am starting with a welcome to our new members. So we have Tanya Bradley, who I'm so excited to have with us tonight. She is actually an ARC graduate, but she's also just an incredibly dynamic woman. She is a lupus patient and lupus awareness advocate. She's a runner. She's a health equity advocate and a racial justice advocate. And did I miss anything, Tanya? Do you want to say anything to the group?
That's enough. Thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of this board.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And then tonight we also have Nicole Calenda with us. She is a pediatric speech and language pathologist. She's a marathon runner. She has a podcast, the Voice for Possibility podcast, and she has served as an ARC mentor for a couple of cohorts. She's a cancer survivor and thriver herself, and she's also a researcher and professor at NYU. So welcome, Nicole.
I'm really honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, and then I just wanted to cover for you guys, there's two board members that aren't with us tonight. Natalie had told me that she had a conflict this evening. Natalie is an ultra marathoner out of New York City, and she produced the documentary, The Race Against Race, that is normalizing Black runners by following her 50-mile run in support of Black Lives Matter. So definitely check out, her stuff on Insta and all of that. She's fantastic, and we're really excited to have her. And she's received the agenda and provided some feedback. So as we go through, I'll just kind of throw out her feedback. Justina is the founder of the Fijian Girls Foundation, and she's supposed to be with us tonight. I don't know if something came up, but I just want to welcome her as well. She's an engineer, and she's also a passionate advocate of ethics and philanthropy, and she's a marathoner as well. She has raised funds for, to get sustainable menstrual products to Fiji herself, running, and sort of was part of the inspiration for that collaboration. So welcome to everyone. Thank you for attending tonight. I have a lot of really fun things to talk about. So I'm just going to rock and roll down the agenda. And then if you guys have questions or comments, I don't as easily look at my chat. What is Natalie's IG handle? We'll get it to you guys. I'm going to respond to this stuff. Hafsa's not joining. I'll respond to this stuff as we go, but just hold your hand up if you want to comment too, because sometimes I get sidetracked and don't check the chat as much. So I'm going to go for it unless anyone has any comments before I get started. Okay. So first thing I want to educate you guys on this year, as we're beginning the collaboration with the Fijian Girls Foundation and Uman for Uman, which is the Sierra Leone-based foundation, we're moving to a rolling application process for ARC in general. So that means that anyone can apply at any time. Mainly because we're kind of focusing on this new collaboration, and I want to put the focus on that. And recruitment takes a lot of time and energy from me. So if you have people that you want to recruit, please, anyone on this board, we need recruitment of, we need to reach far and reach women who can benefit from this program. So please direct them to the website. If they are interested. And we have a participant who just started a week or so ago, and that's how she came to us through one of our teammates directing her to the website. So it's rolling, and anyone can apply at any time. And we do have budget to continue kind of doing that rolling process for now. And we are still looking at, grants and collaborations, and I will get to that as well. But that's kind of how the application process is going to work, at least for Q1. Any questions, please put your hands up. Otherwise, okay, question.
I would love to share with my students. Do we have something, an image or?
I have, yes, absolutely. I'll send it to you, Nicole, after. I have a ton of stuff actually. And also in the addendum to the agenda, there's some more information on what we do in terms of our program, but I'll pull you something just geared at getting it out to recruitment type of thing for your students. We have some really fun images actually, because I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but because I had to get them out to the race coordinator. So I'll send you this. They're fun. What other questions do we have? Okay. So moving down the line, so all of you should be aware now about the 2022 initiative with this collaboration with the Fijian Girls Foundation and Uman for Uman. What I want to do, I'm going to kind of roll down what's, how it works and all that, I want to hear from you guys. I know it's a little bit confusing, I think, maybe on how it works, because I think this is what people think. I think when we post a race, they're thinking that just by registering for the race, like we did with our race, that the funds are going to these foundations, which is not the case. This is sort of like a team and training type of deal where you have to raise your money. So what I'm going to do through 2022, this first round, I had an amazing response. I've raised $1,000 already for these foundations. But what I'll do as I go through 2022, every race that I run personally, I'm going to make a donation on behalf of towards those foundations. So that's a suggestion. There is an expanded, informational piece on the website about how to fundraise. We do have a link to fundraise that people can follow if they want to create a page. There are a lot of options, but I know it's a little bit confusing. So what we're asking is that you either decide to recruit people and run a local race and, have everybody contribute $20 to $50 each, or start a fundraising page, or connect me with a race organizer. And then we can go in that direction for support, both for recruitment for ARC and also for those foundations. But does anyone have any feedback on how to communicate that more effectively so that perhaps it's a little bit easier to understand the way that it all works, or any ideas or thoughts on that? Okay, Asha.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure we can even have a conversation offline if you want, Gina, but I think probably any promotional materials that I can help with, and like, option 1, option 2 would help. I can even help you write some social copy if it's like 2 ways to sign up or 2 ways to get involved.
Yeah.
And just keeping it super simple.
I think that's the goal, is to simplify. The link on the website is expanded because it's kind of has to be. It gives all the instructions. So I would love any feedback people have on just making it simple. Run a race and give some money, or recruit someone to run it. So on Saturday, my daughter ended up having a competition. So we're going to actually just run virtually. And I didn't even have those girls sign up for the race. They're just going to donate money and we're going to go out and run, and that's another way to do it. Just go run with some people and, go have everybody throw in $5. I mean, and do it in honor of the ripple effect of empowerment. And of course, everyone understands the mission with, helping these foundations. It's truly a grassroots effort to empower women, because these girls are missing school every month because they don't have access to these basic supplies that we take for granted. And I mean, that is the foundation of empowerment. They have to be literate. If they're missing school and they're uneducated, there's no way for them to go on and lean into all of the possibility that they have in life and the leadership roles that they can assume and all of that. So this is why it's so important. And this is why it's just such an awesome cause. And so we do have, if people do want to register for races and they've never run a race, or they want to contribute, but they're like, I've only ever walked. We also have a tiered training program through True Potential. I mean, it's through ARC, but it's super affordable. And it's another option for people to get involved and also like find out about training. And it's not the full shebang ARC. It's just a training program. And there are 3 tiers of that as well. It's all on the website. So are there any other general questions on that? And then I'm going to talk about the progress that we've made so far. Sure, Jocelyn.
So like for me, locally, a lot of the races are already fundraising, or their races are to benefit something. How do we incorporate, how do I go to them and say, hey, I know you're raising for this.
Right.
Also, that, because I'm in a small rural area. It's different if I was in Atlanta.
Totally.
I'm going to try to get with somebody in Atlanta more on, hey, anybody up there I can reach out to.
Yeah. I think that's a good question. I think it's hard if it's like, raising money for research for whatever thing it is, or for example, it's hard to then go in and say, but how about this too? Because then that's going to be off brand for that race. So I think any other race that's already is the race is named after a charity, then that's kind of off the table, right? There are some races out there, like some of these ones I'm going to talk to you about, that have different options for many different charities that you can donate to as you register. And that's different, right? We can definitely talk to them, but if it's a race that's like specifically for cancer research or whatever, we'll leave that alone. But the other opportunity is to organize a running group or a virtual running group, or say, hey, let's all go out on Saturday and run, whatever number of miles. And for every mile we run, we're all going to throw in $5, to benefit these girls. That's another option if there's not like a race type situation for you there. But that's a really good question. Anybody else has questions like that? Nicole?
I really like the idea of being public about donating for every race, like just personally. So
Yeah.
I still am having trouble linking to your race. That's just my dog snoring, if you can hear that. That's just like a pig. What I think is, when after you emailed me and told me how to do it, when I do that, it asked me to register again.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So
I mean,
weird.
so I can email the race coordinator and see if we
Yes.
can get you switched over. But
I
again,
forgot to follow up with that with you.
and joining the team is awesome. But again, the registration itself none of
Right.
it goes to ARC or to the foundation. But I would love to have your name on my team. So let's try to do that.
Yeah, no, I want to do that. But I also love, like, every year I do the 9+1 to get into New York City Marathon, right? I would love to, every time, I'm always posting a picture of the race, be like, hey, and I just donated, and have the link.
Yeah.
And have that one statistic you said, I can't remember when we were talking. I'm looked quickly. I'm not seeing it here. What $100 gets?
Yeah. Yeah, so $100 can help 5 to 8 of these girls, depending on the geographic location. And it's a sustainable product that we're providing as well. So not only is it good for these girls and they can reuse it and it's going to have a long-term impact on their lives, but it also is reducing waste. So there's not, and in these third world countries, their disposal systems and et cetera, they aren't what they are in the US.
Yeah.
So, these products are washing up on their beaches. So this also, it's like sustainable as well. I mean, there's so many amazing things about, what we're trying to do here. So I think that's great. And, anybody who has an idea for social on how to communicate
I think if we had something to put, like, I think if every time I'm personally donating, right, but then I'm talking about how I'm donating.
Yeah.
And here's the info, like another image, and here's the information, and with the link and whatever. I think there's power in that as well.
Agreed. Okay. Maybe Asha can help me with like a standardized picture to use every single time. So great. And I will say, just to throw it out there too, Facebook fundraising is super easy. People click on it quickly. That's how I raised like $1,000. And ARC is on there. You just search the charities and you can link to ARC. So that's another way. And a birthday fundraiser, I mean, I know people have a lot of different things that they're involved with, but if you ever wanted to, those ones are really effective as well. Okay, I'm going to go on to what I've done so far, just to kind of give you guys a flavor for where I'm headed with this. So I just kind of started reaching out to all races across the board to see what kind of traction I could get. And I ended up connecting with Amanda at Brooksea. And they have a race series that has a bunch of different races included. And so I kind of like put it all on the agenda, but I'll just go over it really quickly. It's the Rebel series. There's one in Mount Charleston at Las Vegas. There's one in Denver. There's one in Salt Lake. There's one in SoCal and Big Bear. And then there's also the Portland Marathon. They run the Portland Marathon. So she is amazing. And she said, okay, there's a lot of ways that we can do this. She connected me with the whole team. They're going to do some social stuff for us. They just finished a race this past weekend. So we're just going to start rocking and rolling with them. But what I will post for everyone is that they're going to allow us to volunteer at the races. We could even volunteer the day before at packet pickup or whatever. They pay us for that, and that money goes directly to the foundations. You can run the race at a reduced rate if you would like. And they're also going to put information on their website about for anyone who would like to apply to ARC, so that we can have further reach because it's always my focus. Further reach, women who could benefit. Diverse reach is a priority. So these are the things they're doing for us. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm going to try to do a few of these. I'm going to try to go to Denver and Portland and SoCal. And the dates are on Denver's June. The one in SoCal is in November and Portland's in October. But these are just some options. And this is, if you have a local race, you never know if they're connected with the series. I mean, maybe you do, but I didn't know when I reached out to her. I actually reached out to her about the Portland Marathon and kind of found this out. So it's pretty cool that some of the things that can happen. Now, I will tell you, I also reached out to the OC Marathon, and they have a classic charity collaboration, which is not actually ideal for ARC. That is where we purchase 15 registrant slots ourselves, and then it's sort of a team and training approach. I don't have the bandwidth to like recruit people to do a certain race and all of those things. But if it was in your city and you want to do that, awesome, go for it. I think that's another really great idea, but just for ARC as a whole, that's not something that I have the bandwidth to do right now, if that makes sense to everybody. So the bottom line with that is, if you have a race in mind and your local like area, regional area, like even if it's Atlanta for you, Jocelyn, you know, it's not like your hometown, but it's somewhere close by enough that you could drive, please let me know. Even if you just know, if you're just following them on Instagram and you think it's a good idea, I will reach out to them. Or you certainly can make the ask as well. And then I have one other update on collabs, but any questions on what I covered with that?
Do you think I'm doing the Shape Path in Central Park?
When is it?
It's all women. It's April 9th, I believe.
Yep. Will you connect me?
Yeah, I'll get you. I don't personally know anybody, but I'll get you all the information. And
yeah, I can probably find them. Do they have a IG page too? I'll message them there first.
It's through NYRR.
Okay.
But they also,
you know what? I think I know someone who's like connected with NYRR that's like on their board or something. So
even better.
Okay.
That would be even better.
That's a great one. I'll reach out. Does anybody else have a local race they want me to look into? Okay. Natalie actually gave us an idea for, I mean, she lives in New York City as well. It's an African-American focused organization in New York City. And so we're going to we're not sure about the Fijian and Girls Foundation and Uman for Uman, but we're going to reach out for recruitment because we feel like it might be a really nice way to support women in their journey. So she did provide that feedback, and we've got that going too. One other thing that came up is that I was connected with the Senior Director of Environmental Initiatives and Sustainability at Nike. I know that sounds crazy and one-off, but it's a little shoe in. And I was hoping Hafsa would be on because I know she's, is she still working with Nike, Asha? Yeah. So Hafsa, if you're watching this later, or if not, I'll email you. You know, maybe we can see what we can do there. I did send him information on ARC to see, you know, just if we could form some kind of collaboration. What I would love is for them to sponsor athletes. It's right in line with their mission. They're trying to, you know, really help women and all people harness their inner athlete. They believe everyone has an athlete within, et cetera. It's right in line with what we do. And we do have the data, and that's been like such an amazing thing. You know, Joanna isn't on right now, but she's our grant writer, and she has been so focused on getting the data, and it's just really, really helpful to have these things now that we have a whole, you know, beautiful year of data to communicate with all these organizations. Okay, any questions on that stuff? Okay, all right, moving right along. I'm just reviewing some of the core contribution areas for the board as we go into 2022. You know, really, it's just making your mark in one way or another. I know we're all involved in a lot of organizations, and so sometimes, you know, making personal donations or whatever is not what we can do, but building these relationships can be so helpful. So whether it's, you know, thinking about companies that might align with our mission, like Nike, but that's a big company, even if there's a local company that you can think of that might align with ARC, you know, making that contact and trying to loop us in with them. And then this huge one for this initiative is just thinking of your local races, and shoot me an email and say, hey, like, here are the races that I'm going to do this year. Take a look. And then I have, you know, then I can at least say, hey, one of our board members is going to run this race, and here's what we do, et cetera. And, you know, if possible, of course, yay, Justina. If possible, of course, you know, a monthly donation is fantastic. And then we're going to do our annual campaign every May. So we'll get to that more, you know, as we get closer. Actually, Justina is going to do a men's extravaganza I don't think I said that right. Hi, Justina. But anyway, it's to raise money to help girls during their menses. So that may be what we look into in May. So let's pause for a second. Welcome to the call, Justina. I already introduced you to the group and kind of told a little bit of your background and how excited we are to work with the Fijian Girls Foundation. But I would just want to give you the opportunity to say a quick hello to everyone. So go for it.
Thanks so much. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name's Justina Drema. I'm so grateful to be able to speak with you guys today and hear about what's going on with the ARC Foundation. It seems like you guys are doing amazing things. I'm the co-founder of the Fijian Girls Foundation. I found it with my mom. Just from learning more about menstrual inequity, and it's a big, serious problem around the world. And it's just something that a lot of women haven't had a voice to even discuss and talk about it. So I guess my mission and goal is to raise awareness and provide sustainable resources, which is period panties, for women in Fiji. And I hope to, in the long run, copy and paste to many other developing countries as well. So thanks so much for doing this. I'm so excited to team up with you guys.
Absolutely. We are super happy to have you. And, Haja is not on the call, but Haja is the founder of the Uman for Uman Foundation, which is out of Sierra Leone. I did do a quick little podcast episode with her to kick off 2022. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. It was pretty wild because I was talking to her as she was in Sierra Leone, like on her 10 minutes of internet time, and you can hear cars and animals in the background. And she's amazing and just doing great work there and providing sustainable products as well, and education. And she really shed a light on how these girls, like, they don't even understand, they don't even know where it's coming from. I mean, it's crazy. And also, like, taking away the stigma and just making these girls understand this is a part of life, and be nurtured and all of these things. It's so important. And I said earlier, Justina, too, this is grassroots empowerment right here. Building tomorrow's leaders, enabling people to stay in school and to become literate and educated and become future leaders. I think it's so amazing. So, okay, we're talking about just a review of our board of director guidelines. It was in the agenda if you want to go back and look, but we talked through the core contribution areas, the core fundraising areas, and then just the additional ways to contribute. Of course, recruitment. I'm always looking for different ideas on how to diversify our recruitment processes and reach more women, and reach women maybe who never even thought that they could, get involved with movement or running. They don't have to run. They can walk. Walking is movement. And it's super powerful. So, and we've had a lot of women who have gone through ARC and been walkers. So if you have ideas, please reach out to me on that. And then, there was a discussion of doing some more branded merchandise. It seems like everyone really likes that. And so if anybody is interested in taking that on, I actually work with an amazing company. And then I've done Boko hats before too, which I really love to run in. And then our ARC hats they were done by a small company in Oregon. So anyway, if anyone is interested in that, you can message me offline, or if you want to tell me now, please do let me know. I think that we probably could set up a merch store and, raise some more funds that way as well. It's just the bandwidth to do it that we need.
I think it would be awesome. We would all wear a hoodie. Right? Like, I think that it's such a good idea. I really do. I don't fancy myself a merchandise designer, but I would purchase.
Okay. So, and here's the thing, if anybody knows someone who wants to contribute in a way and like is gifted at this sort of thing, this is another way, to contribute as a board member. If you know someone who's good at this, who might have a passion area around the things that we do at ARC, tell them about what we do. Put them in touch with me. I will talk to them and we'll figure out a way. It's not like we don't have any budget at all. We can afford some kind of a budget to pay them for their services if need be. And, we would love to make that happen. So put that in your back pocket as well. Okay. Rocking down the line here. Our taxes are almost complete and will be submitted. Everyone got their 1099s. Let's see. And like I said before, there is some budget remaining to continue funding these rolling applications for now. So we've got that going. Any questions or other areas for discussion? Okay, Jocelyn first, and then we'll come to you, Justina.
Just real quick, did we ever have an age limit, or I guess, a minimum age for the participation of the program?
That's a good question. We went way up to the 70s on the one end of the spectrum, but we didn't really set an age limit, Jocelyn. So if you know a teenage girl who you feel like would be benefit, then let's do it. I think that'd be awesome. I mean, gosh, that's the time of life where you're struggling with so much that a program like this, I think, could be beautiful. And I know Girls on the Run they're doing this, but sometimes people don't have access to Girls on the Run, or they're not in a city that does it, or whatever it is. So that's a great question. And I don't know, does anyone else have thoughts on that?
In thinking about that, and we think about the mentors, that's something to consider too. Would they be comfortable having an older woman as a mentor? Because I'm assuming that most of the women are older. Or would we need to have teenage mentors or young adult mentors, maybe, that are out of high school, maybe in college, younger 20s or something like that. I think it's a great idea. It's just the other things to consider on that part.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And actually, we do have a couple collegiate athlete runners who are in their early 20s on our docket, and we don't really utilize them as much because it's kind of hard to match them with a 45-year-old woman. It's just hard, but they would be great. And I do think that it's doable. I think that that there's a lot of opportunity out there to recruit mentors, but it's a good point to consider for sure. But if you know anyone, send them over to the website to apply. The link's active. What other questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is everyone here, is everyone on the board of directors, or do we have some mentors in here or runners? Like, I'm just curious what this group is.
Sure. Okay, so let me run down it with you. So everyone here is this is a board of directors meeting. I did invite Dana. She wasn't able to attend from True Potential Running. She heads up our coaching aspect of ARC. And then our grant writer, but this is the board, and we're missing Natalie, who is out of New York City, and also Hafsa, who is living in Atlanta now. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. She and Asha ended up working together after they had met in the ARC board. Oh, good. Thank you, Tanya. There's the handle for you, Nicole. Doing my work for me, Tanya. Thank you. So this is the board of directors. So you guys want to just go around super fast and introduce yourselves to Justina? I think that'd be really cool. Go for it, Asha.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Asha. I met Gina through her podcast actually a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic. And since then, I have just enjoyed being with ARC, and I've helped mentor one of the early cohorts and whatnot. So, but right now serve on the board.
Who wants to go next?
I can. My name is Lisa Kovacic. I'm a casual, runner out of Eugene, Oregon. And I found out about ARC through Gina, right when she was kind of first starting it all up. And I'm just passionate about getting other women empowered and involved in running and keeping them connected. And I just have been a part of ARC since the beginning. So.
And for a while there, Lisa was doing she was doing a lot with mentors. So she set up a really good foundation for us to communicate with mentors, which has been carried on. So mentors get like weekly emails from ARC as well. And then Asha, I think it's worth it to say that you were an Olympic hopeful for a while and doing like all the hard, like you're still total badass. Sorry for cursing, but you are. Okay. Anyway, onward. Who wants to go next? Okay, Jocelyn.
So hi, I'm Jocelyn. I, of course, am a physical therapy assistant by day, a runner and everything else by night. But I met Gina, of course, through podcasts as well. Was invited to be on the board. I've served as a mentor for several of the cohorts, which I love. But that's a little bit about me.
And Jocelyn has a big following. Mom runs Disney, right, Jocelyn? Yeah. And so she's all about Disney, and she's been paired with, she's been such an awesome mentor for some of these women who really love Disney. And so it's so fun to be like, oh, Jocelyn. Okay, who's next? You want to go, Tanya? Okay.
I'll go. Tanya Bradley. I am a runner, but I'm also a former ARC participant. I was a mentor this last session. What else? I am a racial justice advocate and health equity advocate, lupus awareness advocate. I'm also a lupus patient. I do a lot in that health and public health arena, but am I missing anything? No, that's it. It's probably a lot I'm missing, but that's the gist of it.
All right, Nicole.
Hi, I'm a speech pathologist, pediatric speech pathologist, a researcher and a professor at NYU, and a runner. I've been a mentor with ARC for over a year and love it. And also a breast cancer survivor.
Okay. Awesome. We have an incredible group, and just, this is just our board. I think our total with mentors and coaches and just everyone involved is over 100. I think it's 103 when I last counted. So we got a lot of network out there. So yeah, okay. If anyone else, did anyone else have a discussion or question? No. Okay. So I will send out a recap and sort of also reach out with anything that came up tonight that pertains to a particular individual. But I'm going to conclude by saying that I continue to be so grateful. I love the new initiative for 2022. I'm super inspired by it. I hope you all will be too. I mean, it truly is this ripple effect. Not only are, we empowering women through ARC, we feel empowered by, all the light they give us. And then we go on and we can use these funds to help these women in Fiji and Sierra Leone. It's just incredible stuff. So I am deeply grateful to each one of you for being here and being on this board and serving women. And of course, one more quote to close us out from a participant from our last cohort. The ARC program has made me feel so empowered. The support system is phenomenal. I felt like every time I went for a run, there were a group of ladies pushing me to success. This program has given me a new sense of making myself a priority and that I can do anything I put my mind to. And you know what? That sentiment is just echoed over and over through these narratives. So I thank you for making that difference in women's lives. Please hit me up with any questions, contacts, anything we talked about tonight. I'm here, and I thank you all very much. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
you.
Okay, goodbye.